Is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are profiling brown people, that this immigration crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question.
That's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally state that the immigration policy... I said it's a dumb question.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. But
it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not designed to...
I thought when I said it was a dumb question, it meant no.
Well, I just want to be clear and precise. I appreciate you trying to qualify my questions, but nevertheless, I think it's a fair one that a lot of people have.
My full answer is no, that is a lie, and it's a dumb question.
You just can't detest the mainstream media enough. Credit to Stephen Miller for his willingness to call out the absurdity of that ridiculous question. Hey there, Steve, it's me, Boris. Do you think ICE hates brown people? Let me break down this blatant hypocrisy for you. For years, deacons at Woke United Methodist have claimed that black people are the victims of an oppressive system. For years, dorks like Boris Sanchez and his fellow paid propagandist at CNN, they have been telling black people that the system is set up against them. America is a racist country. The white man is the enemy. According to recent data from the National Institutes of Health, in the Democratic Republic of Chicago, over 80% of homicide victims are black, and it's not the white man traveling from the suburbs to the south side to exact his revenge for his great-great-great-grandfather losing the Civil War. The vast majority, the overwhelming majority of black victims in Chicago, they are murdered by young black men. For over a decade, their mothers, their fathers, their grandmothers, their grandfathers, their aunts and uncles, they have been begging for someone to come in and clean up the crime in the Democratic Republic. With the media believing in the myth of mythical racism, you would think CNN would support anyone who is helping the black community by cleaning up their streets. The problem is the enforcement, the cleanup, it is coming from Orange Man Bad. According to the media and the doofus mayor of Chicago with a 6% approval rating, anytime the Orange Man offers assistance, it's no bueno. Instead of defending the community that the media has spent the last 5 years victimizing, they are now claiming that the Trumper is racist because ICE is deporting illegal immigrants. This is racial profiling. Don Trump hates brown people! I don't know if CNN knows this, but the vast majority of illegal immigrants are from places like Guatemala, Mexico, or one of the many Islamic republics in the Middle East who are trying to establish modernized dumps here in America. Just like police go where the crime is, ICE agents will be prevalent in communities with a heavy population of illegal immigrants. You can call it racial profiling if you want, but the rest of us normal people, we call it law enforcement. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. Later today on the second channel, gonna give you guys the latest update on Mark Sanchez. Uncle KC, was he racially profiled by ICE too? No, but I would not be surprised if the mainstream media tried to turn him into the ultimate victim because his last name is Sanchez. All kidding aside, the elderly man that Mark Sanchez brutally attacked over the weekend, he has filed a lawsuit. But he's not just suing Marky Mark, he's also suing Fox Sports. I'll give you all the details, so click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. You know, I really like Stephen Miller. For those that don't know, Stephen Miller is the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that means, but if this were the mafia, Don Trump would be the boss, J.D. Vance would be the underboss, and Stephen Miller, he would be the enforcer. He's the equivalent of Sammy Gravano. When someone steps out of line, when Don Trump needs the media to be humiliated on their own platform or own network, he sends Stephen Miller to do the job. This dude, he's got that resting asshole face. Every time I see him on television, he's angry, he's very bitter. I like that. I like it. We need more assholes. For far too long, good men have been silent while men pretending to be women who also identify as the Brigadier General of Antifa, they have been allowed to operate with impunity. The problem, though, for Antifa, those days are over. We need more forceful leadership because that's the only language that Antifa responds to. Force. We've tried tolerance. We've tried debating ideas. Antifa doesn't want to debate. They want to cause chaos. They want to make normal people miserable. Stephen Miller and the Trump administration, they are not going to tolerate it. You want to start riots? Prison. You want to attack ICE officers? Prison. You want to put their lives in danger by ramming your vehicle into them? You're lucky to make it to prison. Over the last few weeks, the media's had an emotional meltdown over the Trumper invading these woke cities and having the audacity to enforce the law. This is outrageous! We can no longer steal cucumbers from Publix. I'm struggling to sit down because I can't steal Preparation H to soothe my Bruce Caboose. ICE agents are under constant attack in Portland. Over the weekend, they arrested some kid who was apparently choosing to identify as a paraplegic. ICE agents arrested him, but he refused to walk to the processing facility. Carry me, you assholes. I'm pretending to be paralyzed. Since ICE agents are equitable, since ICE agents are sympathetic to the needs of the identifier, they decided to comply with his demands. They got a box cart. You know, one of those carts with 4 wheels that are usually used for transporting boxes in a warehouse. ICE agents got a box cart. They put this dumbass on the cart, and they paraded him through the streets as they carried him to jail. Most normal people are supportive of the Trumper fighting crime in woke cities. Casey, that's not true. Some polls would suggest that people are against law and order. Yeah, I'm not talking about polling. Most of these polls are as reliable as crime statistics from these woke cities. If you look at independent journalists who are interviewing people on the street, people who actually live in these communities, people who have been afraid to check their mail because they're worried that some doofus is going to steal the stamp, if you listen to these people, they appreciate what Trump is doing. Not the mainstream media, though. No, 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 no! Once again, the media is demonizing the Trumper. They are claiming that he is racist for deporting people who aren't supposed to be here. Now, keep in mind, it wasn't racist when Barack Obama was doing it. It wasn't racist when Billy Bob Clinton was doing it. But when the Trumper deports illegals, this man is racist! Yesterday afternoon, Stephen Miller made an appearance on CNN. He was being interviewed by someone named Boris Sanchez. Now, to my knowledge, Boris is not related to Mark Sanchez. Stephen Miller, he was trying to make Boris understand that ICE agents are dealing with domestic terrorists. Key word, terrorist. But for some reason, our good friend Boris, he just couldn't comprehend it. Watch for yourself.
They are actually, as we speak, trying to overthrow the core law enforcement function of the federal government. Boris, this is, I think, where we're talking past each other. When ICE officers have to street battle against Antifa, hand-to-hand combat every night to come and go from their building, when they try to exit in a vehicle, when they are swarmed and surrounded and they try to tip the vehicle over, when people bring weapons to an ICE facility to try to engage, this is the textbook definition of domestic terrorism.
You need either a foreign invasion, a domestic rebellion, or a disturbance that inhibits the ability for law enforcement to carry out federal law. But ICE is still conducting operations. Like the facility hasn't been overrun.
Do you have any idea how much of ICE's workforce and resources have had to be reprioritized? How much of the Joint Terrorism Task Force's resources have had to be reprioritized?
You keep calling them terrorists, but isn't that hyperbolic to call them terrorists?
What is? If anything, I'm understating the severity of the situation.
You make the case that these are terrorists.
But the
National Guard isn't being sent to Texas. The National Guard isn't being sent to Dallas where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one, have responded to every call for assistance and help.
For starters, Stephen Miller is an asshole, and I mean that as a compliment. This dude does not tolerate excuses. He doesn't tolerate invalid justifications for bad behavior, criminal behavior. Stephen Miller simplifies it, and he calls it what it is: domestic terrorism. This is exactly what we have been talking about for years with the overwhelming dishonesty in the mainstream media. Boris Sanchez is no dummy. According to his Twitter bio, Boris was named Student of the Month by something called Sizzler in 1996. The Sizzle doesn't give you the honor of being Student of the Month if you're a doofus. Boris Sanchez is a smart dude. He knows exactly what's going on here. He sees the footage. He knows these aren't peaceful demonstrations of woke love. He knows this is a coordinated effort. He knows they are throwing a temper tantrum because they lost the election. And more importantly, Boris knows that they're throwing a temper tantrum because this is their last resort. America has rejected the woke fungus. America has rejected the Democrats' ideology. This is the exact same strategy that they used in the summer of 2020. They rioted in major cities. They fought with police officers. They demanded to defund the police. They made normal people so miserable that they begged for it to stop. Normal people just wanted things to return to normal. Remember Johnny B. Biden's campaign slogan, "I will return things to normal." What happened once Johnny B. got elected and mainly got back into the White House? For the most part, there were no riots during his term. We barely heard anything about Antifa. We damn sure didn't hear about ICE because they were not allowed to do their jobs. Instead of applying handcuffs, they were mailing invitations to the Butt Bongo Festival. Since the Trumper took back the White House, it has been nonstop chaos, nonstop attacks on law enforcement. It's not a coincidence. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.